14 panels are kinked, and I'm gonna have to replace them.
That sounds terrible.
And it was just raining hydraulic fluid.
Look at that. Masterpiece.
When you get on the job site and things are not great, what do? I guess you put on a brave face. You know, if it's not the fault of the people there's nobody to chew out. You know, like if I screw something up, you know, what do? You know, like I guess I'm a little stressed. You just figure it out and move on. When I got to the job site, the crew pointed out right away that the ridge cap that I had ordered, like maybe it could work, but it's too small. And you don't want something to just barely work. It's got to work. It's got to be totally functional. So in the meantime, they're having to temporarily reuse the old ridge cap to keep the place dry and safe at night. And I have to reorder or go hand make a whole new set of ridge cap. And if that was the only thing, no big deal, right? Or I guess it's kind of a big deal, but if that was the only thing, it's never the only thing. You know, like these bigger jobs don't have just one thing go wrong. You gotta brace yourself because that just keeps coming at you.
Do you know, did Abel go back to Bismarck already? Well, let's go look at the rake end because we're gonna have to custom make the drip edge. So I'll need some measurements and pictures for Anton so that he can break the custom rake end at Superior.
We knew that we were gonna be custom making our own rake end cap, but the flat stock that I ordered for it showed up a way different color than I was expecting. So that just didn't match up well. So I don't know what we're gonna do with that. That's going in inventory, I guess. And then to cap it all off, the crew's doing a great job getting panels on. They're being really efficient, getting a lot of panels on. But the nature of this panel, to span those long spans between those purlins, it's like 5.5, 6 feet between these steel purlins, and the panel is rated for it. It's a heavy-duty steel panel, but once in a while the guys are stepping a little too hard in the wrong place and it's kinking panels. 14 panels are kinked, and I'm gonna have to replace them.
The old cap used to come all the way down to here, but I'm not sure. Take more pictures.
But I guess that's contracting, so we learn to roll with it.
But I kind of don't care if those get missile panels delivered.
So making the oversized rake end cap for the Watford City Church, it was just a little bit challenging just because of how much material it needed. Like, it was a really big cut of material and it had all sorts of 90-degree angles, and so making that was a little bit time consuming, and it was, you know, in quite a bit of a rush because the crew needed it really fast. We didn't get the material at our shop till after the roof panels were already getting put on, so yeah, it was a little bit of a hustle to get all that rake end cap made, but it turned out really well, and kind of had some fun making them. Look at that. Masterpiece. Craftsmanship. It's gorgeous. I love it. Can't wait to install it. It's gonna be beautiful. This is the top. And this is the side that you'll see from the ground. The process to figure out what you need made is when you're on site, you either measure the old rake end cap that's there, and I think what we actually ended up doing was improving it. The stuff they had was, it wasn't super great. So John went out, measured, and kind of drew a diagram for me of what he needed. And then he took a picture of that, texted it to me, and then right from there I was able to design it in the machine and figure out how much, how wide the material needed to be. Got it all cut, got it all bent, and got it delivered to Watford.
Even though I had already come to the job site earlier to make sure that the forklift could at least get up as high as the roof, I still wasn't totally confident, and now I got the crew here, so, time is of the essence. You don't want a bunch of guys standing around. That's not good. So I'm still a little bit worried because just because I could make the forklift go that high doesn't necessarily mean I can lift a heavy load all the way up there. So we thought we'd be really careful and, we'd throw a pallet on the forks and not load it up too heavy.
What?
All of that was good ideas, of course, but you know how it goes. I mean, you throw on 10 bundles and it goes up, so you throw on 5 more, 15 bundles, they go up. And it's a big roof, and we're trying to get things done, so pretty soon I'm getting a little braver. Well, shoot. I put a whole pallet on there and boomed it all the way up, and it worked. Great, so now I'm doing full pallets. And sometimes just because the machine can do something doesn't mean that you should do something. Safety-wise, everything was fine. But on the 3rd or 4th pallet, full pallet of shingles that I lifted up, once it got all the way to the top, all that pressure on all of those hydraulic hoses blew something out, and it was just raining hydraulic fluid down onto the brand new concrete at this job site. Hydraulic fluid all over the place on brand new concrete, and it's my fault. And apparently my machine is wrecked. Sometimes pushing the envelope to try to go faster is actually slower, because now I got a broken forklift and no more shingles going up to the roof.
What's happening?
I had this annoying problem where I've got a block heater plug coming out of my hood. I'll have to stop and pop the hood and put it away. And as soon as we got on the highway, it must have been an awkward crosswind or something, but that thing was just flapping around and whacking my headlights. Oh man, it sounds terrible. And so I guess it must have taken me a couple tries to get that sorted out, because I went and threaded it up into the hood and then got back on the road, and then once we got up to speed, it was rattling under the hood, so I literally had to go in there and stuff it down into a crevice to get it to stop making noise. But I definitely would not have been able to stand listening to that for 3 hours, so pretty annoying.
Check, check. Red, yellow, red. It doesn't have a red.
It will if you scream loud enough, I'm sure.
Ah! Yep, it does.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. How's the bass? We'll find out.
Say we're going to Watford.
We're going to Watford.
What are we going to do in Watford?
What are we going to do in Watford? Line.
Do we need to stop? And
Do we
fix
need
the
to
thing
stop and fix the thing?
That's
Yes.
wrong with your pickup.
What's wrong with the pickup? Anyways, we're on our way to Watford to deliver a dump trailer and a couple final components for the church roof, and just got on the highway, but I do have to stop because my block heater plug is flopping around and making noise and probably whacking up against my paint job. I think I'm just gonna try. Oh man. Yes. I guess we'll just do this. That was weird. Period. Oh yeah. Wind blown. The wind is my blow dryer.
Does a great job.
These are important. Always wear one.
After you get the roof on, it's good to show up and give it a really good look over just to make sure we didn't miss anything. There was a couple areas where I think we needed some flashing and maybe some butyl tape. They didn't have it before, but it's an area we thought we could improve. Sometimes you just got to get down and look at most of that roof line to make sure all the closure strips got put in and got put in correctly. And then looking up the panels to make sure all your screws are evenly tightened down, because if you have loose ones and then tight ones, then it can make your roof panel kind of look like this. So it's good to give, especially metal roofs, a pretty good look over after you're done. Make sure that it's perfect. I think the roof turned out super great. It was a Mighty Rib industrial size panel because the way the building was built, the purlons were so spread apart, so we had to put a really good sturdy panel on there. And it looks good, and it's going to be super functional for a really, really long time.
So now we're done with this shingle roof that we're labor only on, only to find out that there's a whole bunch of vents that need to be installed, and they didn't get delivered, or the wrong ones were delivered, or for some reason we can't do it right now, which means that we're gonna have to send the crew back later to undo a bunch of shingles that they just put on and cut in vent holes, all that stuff. It's just it would have been smoother if we could have just had everything all at the same time. But so this is contracting.